If you doubt you'll ever be able to play a live gig on bass because your hands keep locking up and that stops you from finishing a set, there are some things you need to know. After playing over 300 professional bass gigs in 2018 alone, I discovered 5 things that cause mid-gig burnout, and in this video, I'll show you how to fix them so you can be the bassist that everyone relies on at your next gig. There's nothing more deflating than putting in hours of practice, thinking you're getting up to standard, only to step on stage and see it all fall apart. When it comes to this exact problem, most bass players fall into a huge trap, and it keeps them stuck for years. So if you don't have the stamina to get through a gig, what should you do? Well, this is something we talked about in my fretting hand workshop, which is linked below. But in a nutshell, a lot of people will tell you, oh, just play more and stamina will come naturally. But if that worked, none of us would be struggling. We'd all have loads of gig stamina already because we already play loads. Instead, here's the truth of it. In 2018, I was playing 8 shows a week for Bat Out of Hell the musical, and I saw the truth of the stamina debate firsthand. If you get your technique wrong, your stamina will crash, no matter how much you play. The truth is, good fretting hand technique is a prerequisite for stamina. Most of my private students or workshop attendees will find that things like death grip, tension, and fatigue all disappear the moment that their technique improves. And if you keep practicing and playing with bad technique, you might actually be making the problem worse. But when you get good technique, you remove those obstacles and your stamina will go through the roof. So remember, quality comes before quantity. Dial in your technique first, then you'll finally break your stamina plateau and be able to handle any gig. Most bassists never notice a single trap that completely sabotages their stamina. I'm talking about out of control fingers that seem impossible to tame. Do you ever see pros effortlessly glide around the neck and then look at your own hands that are completely out of control and tensing up, and then just feel like a complete imposter? If you do, you're not alone. But unless you fix this, you will keep hitting a wall at your gigs. So what's the key to finally getting your hands and fingers under control? Now, it might not seem like much, but over the course of a gig, the difference between large finger movements and small controlled ones builds up very fast. Large movements waste energy, they invite tension and make it almost impossible to stay relaxed. It's exactly why so many bass players hit the point where their speed, their control, and sometimes even their tone will break down mid-gig. During the rehearsal period for Bat Out of Hell, there were days where we'd be playing from 10 AM to 10 PM. The show itself was over 2 hours long with huge high energy songs, so I had to lock in these small controlled movements to pace myself very carefully. And that's when I started using a simple practice trick to make sure I was actually doing it. I put my phone on my music stand facing me and then turned the front facing camera on. This way I could spot and then correct every unnecessary movement my fretting hand was making in real time. This tiny fix made staying relaxed so much easier, and it let me check in with my technique before bad habits could creep in. The sooner you fix this, the sooner you will play with confidence like a proper bass player in any band, jam night, or gig. So point number 3, don't make the mistake of thinking that big breakthroughs in your playing will come from making one massive change. Most bass players don't realize that it's often a series of small, often overlooked tweaks that actually move the needle. The truth is, being confident on gigs isn't just about the big things. It's about sweating the small stuff, and the really good news is that a lot of these things are really low-hanging fruit. I saw this for myself firsthand during the summer of 2018, because on top of Bat Out of Hell, I was doing daily recording sessions for a popular online guitar education company. Most days I'd be recording from 10 AM to 1 PM, then we'd have a break for lunch, then we'd be back in recording again from 2 PM to 5 PM, and after that I'd head back into town to do a Bat Out of Hell show at 7:30 PM. So when you're faced with that much playing, how do you keep your stamina up and avoid falling apart in the middle of these gigs? For me, it came down to 2 simple things: having my bass set up properly so that it worked with me instead of against me, and making the most of every bit of downtime so that I could properly rest and reset and make sure that my playing could go the distance. Now, at first, those tweaks are so small they might even seem trivial, but as they were for me, they definitely will be for you. They are the difference between burning out and staying consistent, no matter how much playing you do. So as you work on improving your technique and your stamina, Don't ignore these easy wins. They are the bricks that you lay on the road to becoming a reliable gig-ready bass player that everyone wants in their band. Nothing is more soul-destroying than spending absolutely hours practicing exercises at home only to get on stage and see the results not show up at your next gig. Most bassists are stuck in this limbo trap for years without any idea of how to fix it. But you don't need to fall into that same cycle. The real breakthrough comes when you build technique and stamina with a totally different approach that I will show you next. Exercises are the perfect way of getting your technique started. But if you want to deliver on stage, you have to accept that exercises will never test you in the way that a real gig does. For example, let's say you're working on your fretting hand fluency at home. If you're doing an exercise, 100% of your focus can go onto your fretting hand. But at a gig, your attention gets split between your fretting hand, your plucking hand, the drummer, your bandmates, the crowd, your tone, your dynamics, your touch, and absolutely everything else. In this situation, it's very easy to lose focus, and before you know it, your technique has completely broken down, right when it matters most. This split focus challenge is exactly what you need to work on, because playing with split focus is an essential skill for every gigging bassist. And the thing about playing with split focus like this is that it's mentally fatiguing. Playing live gigs is not just about physical stamina, it's also about building up your mental stamina so that you can stay sharp from the start to the finish of each gig. So here's exactly how to do that. Practice with real music. Pick songs that you know backwards so you're free to work on your technique whilst your mind handles all the other live gigging distractions without having to work too hard. For example, in the summer of 2018, I did some gigs with the Jamie Bruce band. We'd often start sets with a warm-up of 20 minutes or so of familiar, easy tunes, and these type of songs are the perfect vehicle because you're working under gig conditions that split your focus and test your mental stamina, but because you know the songs so well, the majority of your focus can still go on your technique. Building technique and mental stamina like this under realistic gig conditions is how you become the bass player that bands want to fight over, instead of just a bedroom player. One of the fastest ways to kill your stamina is just letting 2 or 3 fingers on your fretting hand do all the work. Many bassists will stick with just the index, middle, and ring fingers because those are what feel natural. But the saying many hands make lighter work also applies to fingers too. If you think about it, it's always going to take a certain amount of effort on the part of your fretting hand to play through a song, but if you can split that amount of effort between all of your fingers, no single one is likely to burn out. Suddenly, even the hardest tunes become easier, and fatigue and tension stop building up. It's a simple change, and it does take some practice, but once you make it, you'll be amazed how much easier it is for your hands to handle any jam night, any band rehearsal or gig, without your hands running out of steam halfway through. But saying that, do you ever wish your fretting hand could handle absolutely anything that a gig or band would throw at it? Well, in this next video, I show you the exact system you can use to take your playing from bedroom bass player to being truly band ready. So don't let this plateau hold you back another month or another year. Instead, click up here, watch this video next, and start making progress.